What you're about to witness will break your heart into 1,000 pieces and then somehow put it back together again. A 94-year-old World War II veteran, alone, confused, standing in a courtroom facing charges he doesn't fully understand. And what Judge Caprio does next, you're going to need tissues for this one. But before we dive into one of the most touching moments ever captured in this courtroom, let me ask you something. Where are you watching us from? United States? United Kingdom? Australia? Canada? Germany? Drop it in the comments because I love knowing this community spans the entire globe. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button because we bring you the most powerful Judge Caprio moments that will restore your faith in humanity. Trust me, you need to see this case through to the end. It's a cold Thursday morning in Providence, Rhode Island. The courthouse is busy as usual, people rushing in and out, attorneys with their briefcases, families nervously waiting for their cases to be called. But then something happens that makes everyone stop and pay attention. The bailiff calls the next case. Harold Patterson. Vehicle registration violation. And through those heavy courtroom doors walks a man who immediately commands respect without saying a single word. Harold Patterson, 94 years old, moving slowly with a wooden cane that looks almost as old as he is. Each step is careful, deliberate, like every movement takes tremendous effort. He's wearing a jacket that's seen better days, pressed as neatly as his trembling hands could manage. And on that jacket, you can see them, military pins, service medals, the kind that tell stories of sacrifice most of us can't even imagine. But here's what hits you right in the chest. He's alone, completely alone. No family member holding his arm, no friend guiding him, just a 94-year-old man facing this intimidating system by himself. And you can see the confusion in his eyes, that look of someone who's not quite sure where he is or why he's there. The bailiff notices and gently helps him to the podium, making sure he doesn't lose his balance. Judge Caprio looks up from his paperwork, and the moment he sees Harold, his entire demeanor changes. This isn't just another case. This is someone's grandfather, someone's hero. The judge takes off his reading glasses slowly, and when he speaks, his voice is softer than usual, gentler. "Good morning, sir. Mr. Patterson, is it? Can you hear me okay?" Harold looks up, squinting slightly. His hearing isn't what it used to be. Yes, Your Honor, I can hear you." His voice is thin, wavering, but there's still a hint of that military discipline in the way he stands. "I'm sorry. I'm not sure why I'm here exactly. My neighbor helped me fill out some papers and said I needed to come today." Judge Caprio nods with infinite patience. "That's okay, Mr. Patterson. We'll figure this out together. Please, if you need to sit down at any point, just let me know. If you're already feeling emotional and we're just getting started, hit that like button, because this story is going to touch your soul in ways you didn't expect. And stay with us, because what happens next will remind you why Judge Caprio is beloved by millions. Judge Caprio looks at the documents in front of him, his brow furrowing with concern. "Mr. Patterson, it says here you were cited for driving with an expired vehicle registration. The registration expired about 8 months ago. Can you tell me what happened? Why didn't you renew it?" Harold shifts his weight, gripping his cane tighter. His hands are shaking, not from nervousness, but from age, from the weight of carrying almost a century of life. "Well, Your Honor, I guess I forgot. He pauses, struggling to find the words. I used to be very good at remembering these things. My wife, Margaret, she used to handle all of this. All the paperwork, the dates, the renewals. She was so organized. But Margaret, she passed away 2 years ago. The courtroom goes quiet. That heavy silence where everyone collectively holds their breath. Judge Caprio's expression softens even more. I'm very sorry for your loss, Mr. Patterson. Harold nods, his eyes getting watery. 57 years we were married. 57 years. And now, I get confused sometimes. I forget what day it is. I forget appointments. I forgot about the registration. I didn't mean to break the law, Your Honor. I've never broken the law in my life. Judge Caprio leans forward. Mr. Patterson, I can see from your jacket that you're a veteran. Yes, sir. World War II. I was at Normandy. D-Day. 6th of June. 1944. The words hang in the air like sacred text. Everyone in that courtroom knows what Normandy means. The sacrifice, the horror, the heroism. You were at D-Day? Judge Caprio's voice is filled with reverence. Yes, Your Honor. I was just 19 years old, scared out of my mind. But we had a job to do. Can you tell us about it, Mr. Patterson? Harold's eyes drift away, seeing memories from 80 years ago. We landed at Omaha Beach. The water was red. So many boys didn't make it out of the water. I lost my best friend that day, Tommy Henderson from Ohio. He was going to be a teacher. He died right next to me in the surf. Tears are rolling down Harold's weathered cheeks now, each tear carrying decades of survivor's guilt, of memories he's carried alone since Margaret died. I made it through. I don't know why. So many better men than me died that day. But I made it through. Came home. Met Margaret at a dance in 1946. We built a life. Had 3 children. He stops, his voice breaking completely. But they're all gone now. Car accident took 2 of them in 1989. Cancer took my daughter in 2015. Margaret died in 2022. And now it's just me. Drop a comment right now if you're crying, because there isn't a dry eye in that courtroom. The clerk is wiping her eyes. The court officer has turned away, and Judge Caprio's eyes are glistening with tears. He's trying to hold back. Mr. Patterson, are you living alone? Judge Caprio's voice is thick with emotion. Yes, Your Honor. Same house Margaret and I bought in 1950. I don't drive much anymore. Just to the grocery store once a week and to the VA hospital for my appointments. I guess I should have noticed the registration was expired, but I'm not as sharp as I used to be. Some days I forget what I had for breakfast. Do you have anyone helping you? Any family? Friends? Neighbors? Harold shakes his head slowly. Most of my friends are gone. The neighbors are kind, but they have their own lives, their own families. I don't want to be a burden. I've always taken care of myself. It's just harder now. Everything is harder now. Judge Caprio stands up from his bench. This almost never happens. This is the moment. Mr. Patterson, I need you to listen to me very carefully. You are not a burden. Do you hear me? You are a hero. You stormed the beaches of Normandy when you were just 19 years old. You fought for freedom. You came home and built a life and raised a family. You've endured losses that would destroy most people. You are not a burden. You are a treasure. Harold looks up, confused, tears streaming. Your Honor, I just forgot about the registration. I know there's a fine. I have some money saved. I can pay it. It might take me a few months, but I can pay it. Judge Caprio shakes his head firmly. Mr. Patterson, you're not paying anything. I'm dismissing this case entirely. You don't owe this court a single penny. But Judge Caprio isn't done. Not even close. He walks down from his bench, something he almost never does. He walks right up to Harold Patterson, and in front of the entire courtroom, extends his hand. Mr. Patterson, it is an honor to meet you. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your sacrifice. Harold takes the judge's hand with his trembling one, and the two men stand there, generations apart but connected by a moment of pure humanity. I don't know what to say, Your Honor. You don't need to say anything, but I need you to do something for me. I'm going to have my staff connect you with resources. The VA has programs for veterans, social services, home care assistance, meal delivery, someone to help you remember appointments and manage paperwork. You shouldn't be going through this alone. If you're watching this and you have elderly parents, grandparents, or neighbors, please check on them. A simple phone call, a visit, can mean the world. Hit that like button if you agree that we need to take better care of our veterans and our elderly. And tell me in the comments what country you're from and if you've ever helped someone like Harold. Harold is openly sobbing now, his shoulders shaking. Why are you being so kind to me? Because you deserve kindness, Mr. Patterson. Because you've earned it 1,000 times over. Because when you were 19 years old, you ran into enemy fire so that people like me could stand in courtrooms like this and practice justice. That's why the courtroom erupts in applause. People are standing up. The court officer is saluting. Multiple people in the gallery are crying. One elderly woman shouts, "God bless you, Mr. Patterson." A younger man calls out, "Thank you for your service, sir." Judge Caprio turns to address the entire courtroom. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a true American hero standing before us today. Mr. Patterson stormed Normandy Beach on D-Day. While we're here worried about parking tickets and registration renewals, this man was dodging bullets to preserve our freedom. He turns back to Harold. "Mr. Patterson, I want to do something, if you'll allow me." Judge Caprio pulls out his phone and makes a call right there in the courtroom. "Yes, this is Judge Frank Caprio from Providence Municipal Court. I have a 94-year-old D-Day veteran in my courtroom who needs immediate assistance. He's living alone, struggling with daily tasks, at risk of falling through the cracks. Can we get a caseworker assigned today?" "Yes, today." "Perfect. We'll be here." He hangs up and looks at Harold. "Mr. Patterson, someone from the VA is coming here to this courthouse within the hour. They're going to sit down with you and make sure you get every bit of help you're entitled to." Harold can barely process what's happening. "Your Honor, this is too much. I just came about a registration ticket. This isn't too much." What would be too much is allowing a man who gave everything for his country to struggle alone in his final years. That would be unacceptable. And we're not going to let that happen. Judge Caprio gestures to the bailiff. "Please take Mr. Patterson to the waiting room and get him some coffee and something to eat while we wait for the VA representative. Make sure he's comfortable." The bailiff nods, clearly moved. "Absolutely, Your Honor. It would be my privilege. Come with me, Mr. Patterson." As Harold slowly makes his way toward the door, Judge Caprio calls out one more time, "Mr. Patterson." Harold turns back. "You're not alone anymore. Do you understand me? Whatever you need, we're going to make sure you get it. Harold nods, unable to speak through his tears, and waves a trembling hand in gratitude. Share this video right now if you believe our veterans deserve better. If you believe that elderly people who've given everything shouldn't be forgotten. If you believe that one person with compassion can make a real difference. And comment below telling me about a veteran in your life who deserves recognition. Judge Caprio returns to his bench and has to take a moment to compose himself. He wipes his eyes openly, not trying to hide his emotions. Finally, he looks at his clerk. Let's take a 15-minute recess. I think we all need a moment. But the story doesn't end there. During that recess, something extraordinary happens. People from the gallery start approaching the clerk. One man hands over $200 in cash. For Mr. Patterson, he says simply. A woman writes a check for $500. Make sure he gets this. An elderly couple donates $100. We're veterans too. We take care of our own. Within that 15-minute recess, over $3,000 is collected from people who were touched by Harold's story. When Judge Caprio is told about the donations, he has to stop and collect himself again. This is humanity at its finest. People who came to court worried about their own problems, and they're giving money to a stranger because they recognize his sacrifice and his need. This is what community means. The VA representative arrives exactly as promised. A woman named Sarah who specializes in elderly veteran services. Judge Caprio personally introduces her to Harold. Over the next few weeks, Sarah becomes Harold's angel. She arranges home health care visits 3 times a week. She sets up meal delivery. She organizes transportation to medical appointments. She connects him with a support group for elderly veterans. But here's the most beautiful part. Judge Caprio doesn't just move on and forget about Harold. He personally follows up. 2 weeks later, the judge visits Harold at his home. It's not publicized. There are no cameras. Just a judge checking on a veteran. They sit in Harold's living room for 2 hours, drinking coffee, looking at pictures of Margaret and the kids, talking about life and loss. Tell me in the comments right now, how many judges do you know who would do that? How many people in positions of power take the time to follow up, to actually care about what happens after the gavel comes down? This is why Judge Caprio is special. 3 months after that courtroom appearance, Harold sends a letter to Judge Caprio in shaky handwriting. Your Honor, I don't have the words to thank you properly. For the first time in 2 years, since Margaret died, I don't feel alone. The people you connected me with check on me every day. Someone brings me hot meals. Someone helps me remember my medications. Someone sits with me and we talk. You gave me back my dignity. You reminded me that my life still matters. I'm 94 years old and I thought I was just waiting to die. But now I want to live again. Thank you for seeing me. Thank you for caring. With deepest gratitude, Harold Patterson. Judge Caprio keeps that letter in his desk drawer. On difficult days, he takes it out and reads it. It reminds him why his work matters, why compassion matters, why seeing people as human beings rather than case numbers makes all the difference. Before we end, I need you to do something. Think about the elderly people in your life, your grandparents, your elderly neighbors, that old veteran who lives alone down the street. When was the last time you checked on them? These people have wisdom and stories we can't afford to lose. Don't let them fade away, alone and forgotten. Hit that subscribe button if you want more stories that remind you of the good in humanity. Share this video because Harold Patterson's story needs to be heard. And comment below from whatever country you're watching, telling me about an elderly person who made a difference in your life. This is what justice should look like. Not blind adherence to rules, but wisdom, compassion, recognition. that the letter of the law must sometimes bend to the spirit of humanity. Judge Caprio understood that a fine against Harold Patterson wouldn't serve justice. It would only add suffering to a man who'd already endured more than his share. Every day, elderly veterans like Harold are struggling alone. According to the VA, thousands of World War II veterans die every month. We're losing that generation, those heroes who saved the world from tyranny, and many are spending their final years isolated and forgotten. That's unacceptable. We owe them better. We owe them everything. Judge Caprio showed us the way forward. See people. Really see them. Understand their struggles. Respond with compassion. Use whatever power you have to make someone's life better. That's the lesson here. That's what Harold Patterson's story teaches us. And that's why this case will be remembered long after the courtroom doors close. Thank you for watching. Thank you for caring. And please, please, check on the elderly people in your life. Make that phone call. Pay that visit. Show them they still matter. Because they do. They absolutely do.